What lay beneath the earth was not merely minerals, but a forgotten threat. In the Highland Mountains of Scotland, Elara Vance, a woman in her mid-50s, with eyes weary from years yet sharp and observant, and dressed in nature-appropriate attire, returned to those mountains after many years. With every step, she observed not merely as a geologist, but as a detective. A sudden change in vegetation, a strange color in a water source. These anomalies were clear signs of an illegal nuclear waste site, one that had been covered up during her mission years ago. And now, nature itself was whispering justice. Elara Vance, in her mid-50s, her hair grayed by the wind, her face bearing the marks of mountains and sun, was a strong and determined woman. For years, she had traveled the world conducting mining and geological explorations, earning a respected name in her field. However, an event 20 years ago, while she was working on a remote mining project in the Scottish Highlands, had abruptly ended her career. The company in charge of the project had suddenly shut down a mine, citing unexpected geological difficulties. Elara had immediately suspected this abrupt closure, having noticed strange radioactivity readings and anomalous rock formations in the area. She had warned company officials, especially project manager Robert Thorne, but her voice had gone unheard. Her evidence was suppressed, her reputation tarnished, and she eventually became disillusioned with her profession, seeking refuge in nature. Now, she was enjoying her retirement with mountain hikes, striving to leave the past behind. Yet, nature had begun to whisper forgotten secrets to her. Elara's trauma stemmed from that mining project 2 decades ago. The company had initially claimed to have found a large gold deposit in the area, but soon after they abruptly halted the entire project. Elara, in the last land measurements taken before the closure, had noticed disturbing changes in the vegetation and water sources. There were exceptionally high levels of radioactive traces in the soil. When she submitted her reports, project manager Robert Thorne accused her of being paranoid, had her data invalidated, and explicitly threatened to end Elara's career. Elara continued her struggle, but found herself pitted against a powerful company and a corrupt system. Her evidence was systematically destroyed, and her colleague named David, an assistant geologist, suffered a suspicious accident while trying to speak out. Elara realized the impenetrable wall of bureaucracy she faced. No one would believe her. With her own past having pushed her to such limits, she was now confronting the silent cry of nature itself. She knew she had to find the evidence on her own. This was a mission not just for David, but for the entirety of nature. One rainy afternoon, on the side of the trail she always walked, she noticed an abnormal change in the vegetation, bruised, withered leaves, as if poison flowed within them. The water of a small nearby spring had taken on a strange, slightly metallic color. Elara's heart pounded. These changes closely resembled the signs she had observed 20 years ago at the mine site. This couldn't possibly be a coincidence. Nuclear waste? The Earth was whispering a secret directly to her. Elara immediately took out her test kit. She collected soil and water samples. As the color of the samples changed during the test, Elara's face turned pale with shock. Readings showed that the radioactivity level in the area was far above normal. This chilling discovery meant that what had happened at the mine site 20 years ago had indeed been covered up, and an illegal nuclear waste site had remained active for years. David's death was not an accident. It was a murder committed by the company to cover up this grave secret. Something inside her broke. This was a powerful call for justice. Elara tried to warn local authorities and environmental organizations, presenting her evidence, but no one took her seriously. The paranoia of a retired geologist, they scoffed. Elara understood she had hit an unbreakable bureaucratic wall. No one would believe her. With her own past having pushed her to such limits, she was now confronting the silent cry of nature itself. She knew she had to find the evidence on her own. This was a mission, not just for David, but for the entirety of nature. Day and night, Elara began to meticulously examine this data in her study at the mountain cottage. Satellite images, old mine maps, and her own reports from years ago. She realized that the mountains and the earth itself had drawn the very map of the horror that transpired 20 years ago. That map led her directly to the exact location of a hidden tunnel and an illegal nuclear waste site deep within the mine, which was supposedly shut down years ago, and there was irrefutable evidence that the site was still actively operating. Moreover, Robert Thorne, the company representative, was still in a high position of power. Elara could not tolerate this any longer. That night, Elara reached the entrance of that secret tunnel deep in the mountain. The Geiger counter was screaming like mad, nuclear waste, a deadly threat to human health and nature. Using her years of geological skills and knowledge of nature, she managed to enter the tunnel unseen. Inside, she felt sick to her stomach at the horrifying sight. Rusty barrels, glowing liquids. Nuclear waste had been illegally buried here, poisoning the earth for years. And worst of all, there were new operation traces indicating that the company was secretly continuing to dump this waste. Robert Thorne was the architect of all this horror. Elara could not tolerate this any longer. She was no longer just a geologist. She was also a fierce defender of nature and justice. That night, Elara reached the very heart of the illegal waste site deep in the tunnel. Robert Thorne and his men were there, busily filling new barrels with nuclear waste. Elara deployed a small, specialized device she had brought with her. This device was designed to disrupt Thorne's communication and security network. She activated it, and suddenly all the sensors in the tunnel went wild, lights flickered erratically, and sirens began to blare. Thorne's sneering smile vanished, replaced by shock and furious anger. Elara emerged from her hiding place. Her goal was clear: to expose Thorne's nefarious plans and put a stop to this illegal activity. The fight began. Elara rekindled the warrior spirit she had suppressed for years. That night, she fought not just for David, but for all of nature and humanity. That night, Robert Thorne and his men were apprehended. The secret of the illegal nuclear waste site was finally revealed, and the area was secured. The whispers of the earth had, at last, brought the truth to light. Elara, by confronting her own traumas, had not only healed nature, but herself as well. She was no longer just a geologist. She was also a hero. The dark secrets of nature had finally been unveiled, thanks to the courage of one woman. What profound lesson does Elara's story impart to us? It reveals that nature is not merely a landscape, but also a witness and an avenger, and that sometimes the greatest heroes fight silently within their own inner worlds. Do you wholeheartedly agree? Please share your thoughts and let us know in the comments below. If you found this story compelling and inspiring, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Because every single day, we are committed to continuing our journey of discovering the extraordinary strengths hidden behind these seemingly ordinary lives. Where in the world are you watching from? Drop a comment below. We genuinely love hearing from our amazing viewers around the globe.